and welcome back to Leslie's Mystic Den. This week I have another pick a pile, which is in regards to what you need to know for Mercury retrograde. And I know during Mercury retrograde, we kind of go through the same thing that we haven't really understood in the past. Like, it could be a lesson or a challenge, or maybe something that you need to just go over again. And sometimes we come back to hobbies or just come back to something that we used to do often. As an example, I've noticed that I am getting back into yoga, and I know that that's been something that I haven't connected to in a little bit. So yeah, take your time in choosing your piles, and I will see you to your reading. Thank you. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your Mercury retrograde reading. And before we go into your reading, I am going to cleanse with a piece of sage right here. Okay. And just envision that white smoke is flowing from above down your crown, down your chest, and just imagine the smoke just enveloping you. And as it runs down, it just disappears. And take one deep breath. All right. Now that our space is cleared and your space is cleared, we can go into the reading with an open mind. And all right, pile number 1. So your current energy is the Knight of Pentacles. And to me, this leads me to believe that right now you are working steadily, but also maintaining your finances and acknowledging how much you need to save, and basically you're being a lot more responsible right now. It's like you're preparing for a migration is something that came to me. But you're preparing for something, pile number 1, and I also just got, you have your eggs all in one basket. And it kind of sounded like a warning, mostly because, you know, the saying, don't have all your eggs in one basket. And with Mercury retrograde, I just feel like it's wise to not have everything in one place, but to put them in special areas where you know you can come to them afterwards. That's a message for someone specific. But I can see you're calm. You're not freaking out. You're in a space where you feel independent, strong, but also wise. Like you've just learned something, and you feel more independent, and your energy is telling you that you are on your way to going where you want to be. Because the Knight of Pentacles for me is like a traveler, but also someone who in their travels is calculated with what they need to take on their journey. And that plays especially a big role with money. So before you go off on this adventure, I feel like you are preparing yourself in case anything happens, pile number 1. And what Mercury retrograde will bring is the Hanged Man in reverse. And I know nobody likes to be in the Hanged Man position, right? Someone who understands they're trapped, but they don't want to, or they want to pretend that they don't know how to get out of it. But the card's in reverse, and to me as a reader, I like to intuitively read these because I feel like sometimes it's different. It's different with how everybody feels. And yeah, that does make sense because a lot of different things are going to make us sit out during Mercury retrograde. And that could be, I know, oof, my throat. I know tarot readers constantly say you might have an ex coming back, and I'm sure that gets tiring to hear, pile number one, but since this is a general reading, I just feel like I need to say that because it may not even just be an ex, like lover, like, you know, someone you date, but ex as in ex best friend, ex co-worker, maybe you run into your ex manager, things like that, you know. That's kind of like how I like to see it when tarot readers say an ex, because I mean, you know, they're reading a general collective, and I'm in a relationship, so I haven't talked to anybody in the past for that long, so I mean, it won't apply to me. And that's how you have to read with that's how you have to follow your intuition with general readings. Sorry, my nose is getting really itchy. But back to this topic. Yeah, everybody goes to this differently, and maybe while this ex person comes back into your life and you thought that you had set a boundary to not speak to them, not communicate with them, boom, for some reason, the universe just wants to test you with how and what you will react with. It's testing your abilities and what you've learned, you know? I feel like during the Pisces full moon, you did a heavy release, pile number one. And during that release, you were reborn. I mean, we all go through very challenging periods in our lives, and once we find a way to heal that, you know, we find a way to release, and that's crying or writing poetry, writing in your journal, whatever you resonate with, pile number one. Something that you can emotionally release with, and that's doing something, I want to say, that connects to your inner child. That's what you like to do, pile number one. You like to do things that help connect you to your inner child, to help you release and to help you reborn, and it helps you, what's the word, not attach. You're not like some transformer, you attached a new like thing on you and you carry that with you, but in a way that's what I want to describe. It's like a new medal that you've earned with reaching this next milestone in your life, pile number one. And I want to say that after that release, you have opened the doorway to your new abilities, whether that be maybe you've overcome a communication dilemma. I don't want to say dilemma, but something just came through. Maybe you could have a speech impediment, and you've been going to therapy, or you've been doing small things every day to help you with this speech impediment, and you feel like it's gone during Mercury retrograde. Like you're enunciating the way you want to enunciate, and you feel like you've overcome it. That's something that you're going to bring in for Mercury retrograde. It's going to be like a test for you. Like, okay, you've practiced this much, but has this tool been added into your, what's that word? Arsenal? I don't even know what that word means, but I want to say it. Arsenal? Okay, maybe that's what I mean, but yeah, this new tool into your arsenal, pile number one. And Mercury retrograde has you in a state where you're not in this position anymore. You're overcoming this hanged man place of you thinking like you're stuck. But Mercury retrograde is going to show you that you are indeed not stuck. You are in control of where you want to go and where you want to be at any second of the day, pile number 1. And you're going to overcome this by the 4 of Wands in reverse. And that is foundations falling is the first thing that came through to my mind, pile number 1. By restarting is another word they want me to bring. But while this foundation is crumbling, is what I'm hearing. I mean, it's figurative, you know. You could literally be feeling like everything is falling apart in your life. And you know, pile number 1, that's actually what it feels like sometimes when you're going through Mercury retrograde. And I'm sure you know that very well. I mean, you're watching this video because you are intuitive, because you're empathic, because you follow your intuition. So I'm sure you've experienced this Mercury retrograde before, like this feeling of, well, Mercury retrograde is making me start all over again because it wasn't built on a stable foundation. And you know what? I'm ready. I'm ready for it this time. Yeah, you're falling away from it. And while this foundation is falling away from you, pile number 1, you are going to go into a state of like you're going to be an architect. You're going to be building your life however way you want it. I got an image of Sims. Spirit wants me to say that your life is going to be like a Sims game. You're going to be seeing things in that way, whether it's maybe you finally, instead of doing things out of habit, you are kind of like gonna snap out of it and just be like, wait, no, I'm not gonna be, I just got TikTok. I'm not gonna be on TikTok watching these 5-second videos that turn into 30 minutes laying in bed in the morning. I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go for a walk. And I'm gonna just stare at the sun, is something that I'm getting for someone out there, whoever's watching this. But that's what you're gonna be thinking. You're going to be just becoming more aware. Maybe you were just, you know, day-to-day things. You get stuck into the routine of, all right, after work today, I'm going to look for something to eat because I need to feed my body. But do you listen to your body? Maybe your body's not even hungry after you're off work. Maybe your body wants something more. Something, I mean, of course, sustenance, but does it have to be junk food? Does it have to be, I'm hearing Chick-fil-A. And pile number 1, do you like going to Chick-fil-A after your shift's done? I think Mercury retrograde is going to show you that. How about instead of doing that right after work, I'm hearing, just spend time in nature so that you can just unwind. And maybe while you unwind, that puts you into a space of understanding what it feels like to make dinner at home with love, instead of coming home full of stress and putting all that stressful energy into your food. That's what you eat, right? And I know this is probably like over the top for some people. Like, you want me to like be in a happy dandy mood every time I come home from work so I can make my food? No, that's like not gonna happen. I'm tired and cranky when I come home. And I understand that, pile number 1, but have you ever tried to do something differently after you come home from work? And have you ever noticed that when you do something to unwind quickly, it doesn't need to be super long. Maybe you do a 10-minute meditation, perfect example, or you just take a moment to go into the shower, and in the shower you just take 3 deep breaths. And here in California, I know I'm such an Aquarius. I always have to bring in like things going around the freaking world. But we're in a drought. Maybe you don't want to spend too much time in the shower. And you know what? Like, yeah, I agree. I've also cut down my shower time. But doesn't need to be that long. You can just quickly rinse off and just say thank you. The stress from my body is gone. And you just need to take a moment. Maybe just, you know what? Take those deep breaths after your shower so you're not wasting water. But yes, pile number 1, do something differently once you come home from work. I'm getting a lot of things for a lot of different people, and if I'm talking too fast, I'm sorry. Maybe you can slow the video down, but yes, foundations will be falling, and it could also be you experiencing a change in the route that you drive to work. I mean, anything, pile number 1. Is there a foundation that you can break, that you know you've been wanting to maybe just be spontaneous about? Make it happen during Mercury retrograde, because this is your outcome, the Chariot. And this is what we want from a Mercury retrograde, and that is following wherever the Chariot takes us, because it's going to take us on a fun, wild ride, and you never know who you're going to meet along the way while you do these changes. And I'm getting like a love message for somebody. Maybe I mean, yeah, what if instead of walking your dog in your complex, or maybe in the same neighborhood that you do, maybe this time you do it outside your complex, or maybe this time you decide to take your dog to the dog park, and you will have a fated meeting during that moment. And maybe it doesn't have to be your dog. Maybe it's, you know what, I think today I am going to I'm just gonna go to a Starbucks, sip some coffee there after I get off work, instead of driving home cranky. You know, doing things like that, anything spontaneous that you can think of. And I'm also getting this will happen, or this could happen. You know, nothing is super set in stone with the universe, but I'm getting this could happen by being invited out with friends. Maybe you've been feeling very introverted and not really up for hanging out with friends, but during Mercury retrograde, I highly recommend it. You never know what's going to happen. And I just feel like you doing something differently in a space in your life that you've been doing the routine, it's gonna trigger a fateful meeting with someone. Could be a new best friend, or a new person, or like how I was talking earlier, you could run into your ex-manager, things like that. But maybe things are different. And this doesn't have to be romantic, pile number 1, not at all. It's Mercury retrograde. Remember, foundations falling, not doing the same things again. So if your ex comes back, that doesn't mean encourage them to see you as someone to date. That just means this is a new trial. The universe brought this person back into your life because maybe there is something you need to say to them for closure, or maybe this is a fateful moment for you to just ask them like, hey, how's it going? Or instead maybe apologizing like, hey, I'm sorry things didn't go through that well, or whatever. And yeah, like I said, this occurrence, this meeting is going to trigger something in you where you're just gonna be like, you know what, I'm above the whole pettiness thing. I'm just gonna walk up to this person and just talk to them, and talk to them how I want to talk to them. To tell them how I felt with how they treated me. Something like that, pile number 1. Or also something like, hey, I miss you. And it's a Chariot. You never know what's going to happen. And yes, this is your advice from the universe with Mercury retrograde. And your advice is, I feel like it's to cleanse, but also I'm just getting the word reflector. You're going to be a reflector to people you meet, I think. And maybe that's what this whole fateful meeting is about. Maybe you are going to be the lesson for whoever you meet. Vice versa, right? That's how life sometimes plays out. But I do want to read from the guidebook from this oracle deck, because I really do think it offers really good messages of guidance. So, let's see here. And I'm already at 20 minutes. Oh my god. I wanted to be shorter, but a lot came through for those who picked pile number 1 for Mercury retrograde. So, okay, so this guide's name is there any pronunciation? There is not. Okay. Tezcatlipoca. Ancient god of the night, of war, of education, and temptation. He is portrayed holding a mirror with which he kills his enemies, forcing them to face their contradictions and discordance. For this reason, he is governed by the archetype of chaos, but he is also capable of sacrificing himself. In fact, he lost a leg after using it as bait to attract the monster of Cipactli, whose body was used to form the earth and human beings. And the advice that they offer actually in the booklet is assess in a period of pause and meditation what needs to be sacrificed to leave the chaos you find yourself in. You will thus be able to obtain great advantages from this new perspective. Yeah, I mean, I felt like a lot of the intuitive messages I was getting was, yeah, going into a space of understanding that I'm in control now. I'm not hanged up. This is my time of release, because foundations are falling, things are changing, and I am going to be moving forward. That's you, pile number 1. And yeah, I mean, I was right. You're going to be a reflector, and that makes total sense with Mercury retrograde. That's kind of what ends up happening during this time, Mercury RX, is that you end up, I mean, it's almost like everybody ends up being each other's reflections. It's a heightened time of learning, is something I just got. And that makes total sense. I mean, being a god of war, of chaos, there does come with some chaos comes also understanding of the chaos. And I feel like that's what we all learn during Mercury RX. That's when people, I feel, are a tad more grumpy, I am gonna say. And come on, let's be honest, Mercury RX just gives us more challenges, like things just not working out. I mean, how many times have I had my computer or things like that shut down during a Mercury RX, or even my car just ending up having a nail in the tire. Things like that happen, and it pushes us to see how we will react. And during that time, I feel like a lot of those kind of things happen to a lot of people, and a lot of people just end up getting mad. You know, I mean, if something bad happens, take a moment to be like, shit, that sucks. Linger, and then just be like, all right, I mean, it ends up working out anyways, I'll figure it out. And that's the thing that usually happens with Mercury RX. And pile number 1, I just feel like you're going to be successful. Continue doing what you're doing, pile number 1. You're on the right track. Look at you. You're collected, smart. But keep in mind not to have all your eggs in one basket. Have a backup plan, a plan B, especially during a Mercury RX. And you will realize that you are not locked up in a situation. You are actually free. And once you realize that, the foundation's going to break. You're going to start asking yourself questions like, why do I need to actually work all this time? Maybe I can just negotiate with my boss that if I do this and that, maybe I can just leave an hour earlier. Things like that. and it's going to lead you to new beginnings, 100%. And your advice for this time, just go with the flow and be you. All right? And be cautious with the chaos that surrounds us at the time, okay? Thank you so much, pile number 1, for clicking on this video, and I hope you enjoyed the reading. Please leave a comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you'd like your own Mercury retrograde reading, please send me an email through my website, and that is www.lesliesmysticden.com. I'll have that linked down below as well in the description box. And I just want to say thank you so much to those who have booked already with me. You guys have no idea how much that means. You know, small business, anything counts. I just really appreciate the support, and thank you guys for continuing just being supportive and watching my videos, and I really appreciate that. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you guys in my next one. Bye! Hello, welcome to pile number 2. So, before we go into your reading, I'm just gonna burn a little bit of sage so we can clear your space and my space. Alright, so pile number 2, just envision white smoke flowing down from your crown, down your chest, down all the way through your legs. And as you imagine the smoke just flowing down your aura, your body, just take a deep breath. And as you exhale, just feel how light your body is and your mind. And now that the space is cleared, we can go into the reading with a clear mind so we can get the best advice for you during this Mercury retrograde. Okay? So, right away, pile number 2, your energy right now is the 8 of Wands, and that to me just I just felt like a jolt, like just like go, like I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to respond to this email, I need to go back and talk to them and ask them what are they doing and how can I help them. Wow, you have a lot going on, pile number 2, I'll tell you that. I also just feel like maybe your car broke down and like a nail or something, and it's been bugging you. It seems like something just keeps coming up, and it just also feels like you have no break, but also at the same time, you have to deal with your health, so that's you having to find people to give you rides and running late to those appointments. I'm starting to feel a lot of, like, actually tense, like, on my shoulders, pile number 2, so lots of go energy, and you're giving me a little bit of a hard time, pile number 2. I also just kept getting, I need to study, but also at the same time, you're valuing your mental health, so you're also just saying things to yourself like, I need to just rest, but at the same time, something's off with that. You can't let yourself rest because you want to study, so it's an endless cycle. Oh my goodness, pile number 2. A lot of energy playing out in your reading, and yes, so I also just feel like at the same time with all this energy, it's leaving you with, I don't know what to do. It's too much. The stress that you're feeling right now, pile number 2, is starting to affect your body, and could be maybe the first signs you're going to start seeing it is itchiness in your hands, but also tiredness in the soles of your feet, and it's gonna feel like little tiny needles are prickling in your shoulders. And once you start feeling that, pile number 2, you something just came through in my mind. You need to slow the pace. You need to calm down. And with this fast-moving energy, Mercury retrograde is going to hit you with the Emperor in reverse. And I just feel like that's you always wanting to be in control, and Mercury retrograde is not going to let you be in control because you haven't learned that. You haven't learned when to just take a step back. You haven't learned when to, I'm hearing just stop, just stop, just stop. At the same time, it's also like you're denying yourself the good things in life because you start to feel guilty. But in the times that you feel guilty is the times you feel like you want to just control everything outside your surroundings. So you could be taking out on this energy with the people you love. No judgment. Pile number 2, no judgment here. You know, when we're all under stress, we snap. And I just feel like with Mercury retrograde, you're gonna learn that with doing that, it's not healthy, but at the same time, Mercury retrograde is gonna show you that you just can't do that anymore. It's impossible to be in control of everything at once. So while you want control, Mercury RX is going to bring you the latter. You're not going to be in control anymore. You're not going to know what will come next. But you shouldn't worry. I wouldn't put that in a space of like worry. If anything, I would just put that in a space of, okay, I'm just going to go with the flow, and whatever happens, I will do that next. So instead of you maybe jumping to one thing onto the next, just let things flow. I mean, if someone's not in the office one day and you need to talk to them to make an appointment for something and it's important, but you can't, it's out of your control, pile number 2. And your advice is to just let it go, and to also just be aware that it's okay to let it go, and that when the time comes, you can work on it. So maybe you can't reach out to this person because they are just unreachable for a whole week. So instead of you losing sleep, maybe just over anxiety of this fast forward movement energy that you want to be in, Mercury RX is going to instead tell you, do things that you find joy in. 10 of Cups. This is how you will overcome this. And that is you, instead of being stressed during the entire week or the entire month, if you have to wait that long, it's you going back into finding things that make you emotionally fulfilled. So maybe, yes, it sucks that you can't do this at this time, but it's out of your control and it's okay. So instead of having that loom over your head, pile number 2, do something you love instead. So during that week, if you can't do that, and you're the kind of person that likes being busy, maybe look into doing something else that you're capable of doing. Maybe instead of you stressing over this appointment you can't have for your health, you can try and I'm hearing scheduling an appointment for your car, because your car still needs to get work done, and it's probably easier to get your car fixed than get an appointment with a doctor, right? So I'm hearing something like that. But also maybe just focusing on things you love, remembering what you are here for, that bring you joy, that bring you that emotional fulfillment, that just help you move you forward. Because let's see here, it will help you finally reach that locked door. So notice how this is the 8 of Wands. This is your present energy, pile number 1. Pile number 2. This is your present energy. Sorry, I don't know if you'll see it, but which is stressed, wanting to move forward, constantly pushing forward, but the universe is not going to let you. But as long as you do something that you love, boom, unblocked. You are now at the Nine of Wands. You are now going to be literally feeling the energy move with you. And that's you noticing I'm hearing the changes of the season. You're going to start seeing things that you haven't seen before. And maybe that's you seeing a spirit in your meditation is something that I got. Someone who is going to help you. And I want to say that once you finally let go of control, pile number 2, that is when you are going to be able to move forward. And wow, this was like, I feel like this reading was for someone very specific, just because it was rather very quick. Pile number 1 had a very long reading just because so many things were popping up. And I would recommend watching that one just because I feel like that one, there was just so many things constantly trying to be said. And with this, it's clear. It's clear-cut energy. It's just like you're moving too fast. You want to move fast. Mercury RX is going to not let you have that control that you like having. It's going to bring you the opposite. It's going to show you that being too attached to the idea of controlled is not a stable, balanced energy. It does not help the equilibrium of your life, pile number 2. But once you reach that state of 10 of Cups, that feeling of just being fulfilled, whether that's you maybe learning a song during the week, or also just maybe learning a new skill set, it's gonna make you feel like you're on cloud 9. And maybe this is you also just running into the right person at the right time. You know, sometimes once you let loose, the universe is very forgiving, and that's usually when rewards flow in, pile number 2. And I feel like this is the rewards. Like, once you realize you need to let go of the idea of control, that's when the universe is like, okay, I'm going to give you more. I'm going to give you more things to experience, more things to cherish into your life. And that is going to make you feel, I feel like forward movement. And at the same time, I feel like it's going to allow you to connect to more people. Connect to those that will help teach you the idea of just being in the flow and the idea of being in the now. I also just sense that this could be with health and business, and maybe in a relationship as well. I mean, the Emperor in reverse. This could also, I'm getting, be someone who is very controlling coming back into your life, who has changed. You don't recognize them at all anymore. They could have a Capricorn placement in their chart, pile number 2, but you don't need them anymore. I'm sensing that during this chaos of constant movement, you're gonna pull away from the Emperor, because you are going to be fulfilled within your own heart, within your own space, and you're happy with moving forward and with meeting new people. And also, I want to say, this is you maybe moving forward to a new job, pile number 2, you being able to finally connect with people who maybe just move in the same space that you do, you know, people that get you, that understand you. And let's see, your advice for Mercury retrograde is number 3. I just feel like your advice is to flow with the chaos, to flow with, I also want to say, colors of life, but at the same time acknowledge that with this chaos brings like new beginnings. Like, we can see a flower right here or right next to the fire. After scorched lands, that's when, you know, grass grows again. And I'm going to read from the booklet just because I feel like the booklet will offer amazing advice. All right. Yeah, I mean, I was right. So, chaos. This card represents the shapeless primordial soup. Oops, let me put that here. The alchemist's receptacle, the palette held by the artist before he starts painting. As shown in the art card, technical ability and knowledge are ready and abundant, but the final execution and the right route are needed to avoid dispersion. Without quick and aware action, you face the risk of drifting away, feeding entropy, or remaining trapped in a stalled situation. Advice of the dead. It is time for action. Analyze and choose all the opportunities available to you quickly without fear of cutting something out. Yes, pile number 2. That is usually the lessons that Mercury retrograde usually brings, and that is with making the decision that is best for you, best for your soul, best for your heart. And that's you realizing that I need to make a choice in something that will better my health, better my relationships, so I can just move on. So I can just finally move forward with peace and feeling like whatever I do brings me joy, finally. Find joy in the chaos. During this time of, I feel like, quick pace and forward movement for you, especially pile number 2, since the universe is going to be surprising you. You're going to feel like a boss after this, and you're going to feel in control. Even if you end up running into a lot of people that you had conflict with before, I feel like you're going to learn to manage it. And I definitely feel like you may have fire in your chart as well, because that fire within you is what helps you reborn, kind of like a phoenix, pile number 2. So I hope you enjoyed your reading, pile number 2. Please don't forget to comment and like and subscribe if you enjoyed your reading. And if you'd like to book your very own personal Mercury retrograde reading, you may do so at www.lesliesmysticden.com, and that'll be linked down below in the description box. And I just want to say thank you so much to those who continue to support me and who actually book with me as well. You guys have no idea how much that means to me. I'm a small business, so just everything counts. All the shares, all the likes, all the comments. I like to interact with my subscribers, and when you do that, it makes me feel a whole lot better. It makes me feel like I know who I am talking to and whenever I do these readings. So thank you so much for connecting with me and for staying this far. And I hope to see you guys in my next one. Bye! Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your Mercury retrograde general reading. And before we hop right in, I'm gonna burn some sage just so we can clear my space and yours. So, just envision white smoke flowing down from your crown, down your chest, and out from under your feet. And as this happens, take a mindful breath, and as you exhale, just feel how light your body is and your mind. And now that the space is cleared, we can go into the reading with a clear mind so we can get the best advice for you for this Mercury retrograde. All right, pile number 3. This is your current state of being right now. Page of Pentacles. You are, I want to say 2 things. Going on an adventure, but also meeting someone. But you're being calculated about it. Of course, I mean, Pentacles, you could have an earth placement in your chart. And to me, that just entails that you like to be organized and You like to know what you have in your bag. That's something else that I got, pile number 3. You like to know what's that word? You like to know what the other person has behind their back so that you know what to pull out too, so that you're ready. That's a specific message for someone, pile number 3. And at the same time, it feels like on this long travel that you've been on, a long travel of knowing when to jump, knowing when to stay, knowing how much to save, knowing how much to say. I know, it rhymes. But during this time, you've been moving and you've been presenting others with messages, but at the same time, feel like you've also been the one presenting opportunities to others, pile number 3. So you could be a boss, and I just feel like you're starting to think about inviting someone into your business. So, I mean, that does take time and effort to just be calm and wise about what to show out, right? So, yeah, I mean, the person in the card is holding a gold coin. You're kind of making an offering of, hey, would you want to work for me? This is how much I would offer, and it would be a great opportunity. I would love to have you. You seem to be very knowledgeable of what I'm selling, and I need someone like that. So it's a time of negotiation, but I also feel like Mercury retrograde is going to bring you the 9 of Cups. This is the 9 of Cups, right? Oh, it's the 6 of Cups. Is it? Yes, it is. My bad. It's the 6 of Cups. You're taking yourself away from something, or you're gonna feel like something's being taken away from you, pile number 3. So, that's interesting. And the way you are going to overcome this feeling of maybe just being a little bit greedy, they're asking you to step back from the Fool energy. That's how you are going to overcome this, pile number 3. It's not a moment to take a daring jump. And it's because they want you to be wise about this. Remember, this is your energy. But Mercury RX is going to make you feel just a little bit closer to your emotional needs, and also maybe the things you really, really like, which could be your business, pile number 3. And it could be that you just care about this a lot. This has been something that you've been working on for a long time, and you'd hate to see it just go to waste, is something I heard. You'd hate to see it just be used, is also another thing. So yeah, it's something that's close to your heart, but also Mercury RX is going to show you how to pull away from this energy, or it's going to want you to pull away from this energy, is more like. And the outcome of this is to remain clear-headed and just stay in a clear mindset, because if the Fool in reverse is someone who is not going to make that jump because they're not going to know where they're going. So you're going to overcome this feeling of nostalgia by just not doing anything foolish. And your outcome is the Page of Wands, which I think is really nice to have as your outcome, because that means you're going to be receiving a message, pile number 3. And that could be a message from maybe from those I'm really connecting to someone who owns a business. Like, you're connecting to someone who maybe wants to give you their resume, who wants to show you that they're capable of helping you and who want to help you. And at the same time, It's someone who knows something about you is what I want to say. So yeah, it could be boss. Like you're the boss and they looked into your business and they researched on it and they're calculated. And once the leaves of autumn start to show, I feel like that's when you're gonna start getting these messages. And it also could be that you're just becoming more popular. Maybe people are just booking with you more, and I mean, you have a lot to offer. So it makes sense that people would be reaching out to you instead of you feeling like kind of sad about your state of being during Mercury retrograde, your state of emotional being. Your outcome out of it is to just be calm and to just see the brighter side of things. You need to realize how much power you have, pile number 3. Yeah. It's time for you to acknowledge that you have a lot more say in things than you even imagine, is what I'm getting. And that's why you got the Page of Wands as the outcome. It's like people are going to be telling you this. Like, you're going to maybe even be running into people on the street and they're going to be like, wow, you look amazing. Or maybe it's, hey, I recognize your shop. I think you've done a great job on it. I just want to applaud you at your organization or at your skill set of marketing, things like that. You're going to start realizing that, like, hey, I mean, yeah, I miss the past and I miss how things were. I miss how things used to be. But, you know, it's okay to miss things, but it's not okay to just live in the past, right? Pile number 3. And so once you realize that the idealization of starting over just because of the old things, of how they ended, like you're gonna end this like idealization of I'm just gonna float away into wherever life takes me. You're gonna, like, I feel like, get a reality check, yeah, and just come out of this. And that's when contracts are gonna start coming to you. That's when, like, I feel like just things are starting to get more serious in your life, pile number 3. And that could be in regards to, like I said, business, maybe even just relationships. Maybe someone's reaching out to you and you've been interested in them, but you don't know if it's going to be a serious thing. Well, we don't know if we don't try, right? Pile number 3. And that's what I feel like your overall message is for the Mercury retrograde, is that don't let the past overtake you, and you're gonna overcome it by just standing firm, being clear-minded, and not doing things based off emotional needs. It's an interesting message, but I hope that whoever resonates with that, I hope you resonate with it, because, you know, sometimes we make snappy decisions off of just having a bad day, and sometimes that can ruin an opportunity. But in this situation, in this case, remember, time is fluid. You're gonna react in a clear, standing way, and that's gonna enable, like, more opportunities for you during the Mercury retrograde, which is good because you're in a time of giving, but also in a time of receiving things. So stay in that stay in the free flow state during the Mercury RX, pile number 3, and I think you'll be good. And you got this card for advice during Mercury retrograde, number 20. And I'm just going to read from the booklet real quick, because the booklet offers amazing advice all the time. It's like my favorite deck, and I usually like to only use it for in-person readings, but yeah, I really connect to it. So let's see here. Fraternity. No true evolution or progress is possible if we consider ourselves to be isolated from the world, This card encourages us to do any spiritual and subsequent material work in a state of solidarity and trust towards others. The primordial concept expressed by the love card must sediment in our minds so as to bloom and lead us to collaborate with others for a greater good. Your advice? Approach your work and your actions in a state of socialness and solidarity, perhaps starting collaborations with those you trust. That really fits with the outcome of your message, pile number 3. You got a page of wands. Someone trustworthy is going to reach out to you. Someone you know you can count on in the future, but also maybe it's someone that is a loyal customer, and maybe they end up spreading the word of your business, and that counts as loyalty, and it just counts as like just the give and take, the balance of being here on earth, right? I mean, look at how this card is literally expressing the balance of giving and taking. Look, all of these figures are shaking hands, and it goes on into infinity. That's the balance in life. You give and you take. It has to be that way. Without one, there cannot be another. You know, like, that's the lesson for you, pile number 3, for Mercury RX. In order for you to be in a giving state, and in order for you to be in a state of just helping others, you need to take care of yourself, and you need to step away from the things that were maybe holding you down and just keeping you in a space of sadness for far too long. It's time for you to do what you were meant here to do, and to go out there and snap and seize the day, how they call it, right? So yeah, I feel like this reading was very straightforward, pile number 3. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a comment. Please like and share, and don't forget to subscribe to see more of these pick-a-pile readings. And I just want to say thank you so much for supporting my channel, and also to those who book with me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm a small business, and anything counts, like a simple like, a comment. It helps me interact with those who like my work, and it kind of helps give me an idea of who I'm talking to during these readings, just like the energy I'm connecting to. So thank you guys so much for staying this far. And if you'd like to book your own Mercury retrograde reading, you may do so through www.lesliesmysticden.com, and I'll have that linked down below in the description box as well. And yeah, I hope to see you guys on my website and on my next video. Hope you guys have a good one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!